Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Kriya. It is Tuesday, July 2nd, just starting the month of July here. And obviously, for me, unfortunately, not starting it on a hot note. We're going to get into our recap of yesterday, Monday, July 1st. Here are my unfortunate losers. First, with the Brewers and Rockies, that was a dumb idea. First, I don't know what was going on. The Brewers, I guess, started someone else and then brought in Bryce Wilson, and he still went up 4 runs. So it was just a disaster over there. And then Gomber let up 4 runs, and it was looking pretty decent. Going in to the eighth inning, it was a 5-4 ball game. So we were. It was a little sweaty, obviously. Just needing no more than 2 runs, just kind of close it out here, 6 outs, and here comes the Rockies bullpen, just doing what they do best, just not getting any kind of outs, not doing any kind of good for us. And obviously they let up a few runs, and that game finished with a walk-off from the Rockies, 8-7. So obviously the under 11.5 did not cash. So just the Rockies bullpen doing the Rockies bullpen things. Of course, watch today. They'll have this game go way under and just not even touch anything. So obviously that's just how this game goes. So the Brewers and
I don't know. It's Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Brewers, so I don't know if it's
I
gonna
know, and
be.
I saw the matchup. It's Dallas Keuchel and Ryan Feltner, and I saw that over under at the same total as yesterday. So that this game might. Who knows with this game? So obviously that was a tough one yesterday, and then don't get me started with Ronaldo and his tears. This man missed 7. I was looking and counting every single opportunity Cristiano Ronaldo had to score yesterday. He could have had a hat trick in the first half. He could have had 3 more in the second half. He had that penalty that he missed. It was just a disaster. It was just a disaster. And then I saw on Twitter that a certain handicapper had a parlay of Jordan Alvarez to have a homer and Cristiano Ronaldo to score. And as soon as I saw that, I said, "Yep, that makes so much sense." We're not going to say his name because we're not going to give him attention because we know that he's going to curse our bets as well. So, unfortunate 0-2 day, but we're going to bounce back today, hopefully. Ari, how'd you do yesterday?
Yeah, 0-1 for me. The Eubanks matches got pushed back to this afternoon, so that's still pending. But tough loss for the Nationals. Like I was saying, it was MLB debut for James Wood. He gets a hit in his first at bat, gets the third on I think it was Keeper Ruiz single, first and third, 1 out. And then Nick Senzel grounds to a double play, so that was tough. But then the next inning, the Nationals scored 2 runs to take a 2-0 lead. Mackenzie Gore is dealing. He went 5 2/3, got taken out with the runner on second, 2 outs. I think it was Derek Law, I believe, followed him, gave up a hit to give up the run. And then he gets a ground ball to get him out of the 6th inning, and CJ Abrams lifts his glove up before the ball's in his glove, goes through his wickets. And that makes it, I think it was first and third. Next batter, 2-run double, make it 3-2. So they fell behind 3-2. They tie it, I think, in the 8th, 3-3. And then James Wood gets on second, nobody up, bottom 9, and they do nothing to get him even to third base. I think he was on second, nobody out, and he stayed on second the rest of the inning. And then the Nationals bullpen in the top of the 10th, I don't even know what happened. They gave up 6 runs, and I assume it's over. And of course, Nationals score 4 in the bottom of the 10th. Bring 2 on. They have the winning run at the plate, and it strikes out on 3 balls that were not even close to strike. So, tough loss for Nationals for a lot of different reasons, but obviously that's the way, that's the way it goes. Like your Ronaldo play, and probably hits more often than it doesn't in those situations, and it didn't. So, obviously the way it goes sometimes in sports.
I think all you can say all of America had one of those Mondays, especially with the USMNT. Don't get me started on that match. Obviously, the Nationals, tough loss there. What could have gone wrong? Abrams lifting his glove a little too early, obviously, contributing some runs there. Just, what could have gone on went wrong in that Nationals game. Obviously the bullpen not doing any favors for you. Like I said with my picks, the Brewers, Rockies bullpen not doing us any favors, and then certain someone had Ronaldo to score, and as soon as I saw that, made so much sense. But hopefully, obviously, we do kind of wrap up yesterday/today with you winning with Eubanks. Hopefully, obviously that, as you said, that match got pushed back. So hopefully we're still hoping for one winner from yesterday, but we're gonna have a winner today. Hopefully, here are my two picks for today. Sticking with the diamond here. First, we're gonna go to Pittsburgh, and we're taking the Pirates first 5 money line. We're getting at -135 here. I just saw the pitching matchup, and I don't usually back Mitch Keller because he's had such a weird season in terms of how he's produced, but I'm mostly backing the fact that Kyle Gibson's on the road, and Kyle Gibson struggles on the road versus at home. We've seen, him struggle a lot recently. I think he had that one game where went one start, or he didn't even start against Miami. I don't know what happened, but I guess he got pulled at the last second. So he hasn't really had a road start since Chicago, where he did cook. But that Chicago lineup is pretty anemic, I'd say. Sometimes it's up, it's here, and it's not here. But in his last real start, I'd say he gave up 3 runs against the Houston team, who does have bats, and the Pirates bats do come out at home, and that's why I'm taking the first 5 here. We're just backing this team through 5 innings. Mitch Keller is a lot better at home, in my opinion. He has a lot more better splits, especially against this Cardinals team. The Cardinals are such a weird team this year, obviously. They don't really have much production, outside of, maybe Burleson, who's in 278, Donovan's in 274, and obviously Arenado, and, but still Goldschmidt has had a ton of struggle this year. He's kind of kicking it into a little bit of a gear, but, for the most part, he's still struggled a lot. Mason Wynn has kind of been, the one of true consistent guy for them. So not really much in this lineup. We're just asking the Pirates to kind of have a lead here, or at least tie, hopefully through 5. Like I said, Mitch Keller is a lot better at home in terms of his road to home splits. Kyle Gibson, the last time he was on the road really was against Chicago, but, obviously Chicago, that's divisional. They know they know that team so well. And even though they obviously, Pittsburgh and, St. Louis obviously know each other well, I do believe that this is a spot for regression for Kyle Gibson. Obviously, his I don't know what happened in that Miami game. He got pulled at the last second, but in his last start at home, he only went 4 innings against the Atlanta Braves, a team that can hit the ball well against righties. And I think Pittsburgh today, they hit the ball well. I think this is where they get out to a lead here through first 5. So we're just taking the first 5 because I know the Pirates bullpen is going to sell this game. Oh, don't get me started with the Pirates bullpen. So I'm just taking the first 5 here, the Pirates just to get out to a lead here through the first 5. I'm not really worried about anything else here. Just the Pirates here to get out to a lead through the first 5. We're getting at a -135 at home. I did some line reading. I think the full game is a little bit juiced with the Pirates, I think, being down to -122 for the full game. So the books are saying that the Pirates obviously potentially get out to a good lead here, but, that bullpen definitely blows it in the end. So I do like the Pirates here. Just get out to the first 5 lead. Not really worried about what happens on Mitch Keller's side, just because I know he has had a lot better home road splits, especially against this team. But, we're just kind of more backing the Pirates just to get out to a lead here, especially with the bats here. And unfortunately, I mean, even though Kyle Gibson's home road splits are kind of wonky, in terms of how he is at home versus on the road, I do think the Pirates bats show up at home, which they usually do, because the Pirates bats don't really show up that well on the road. We always see the higher score games in Pittsburgh. So I do like the Pirates just to get out to a lead here. First 5 money line at -135. And then we're going to go to the Cubs, who I was just talking about. And we're going to take that over here, over 9.5. We're getting it at -102. The only reason I really checked this, and I love this over, I love this pick more than the Pirates pick, but I love this over because it's windy and it's hot. And that means the ball is going to be carrying out the stadium. And when you have guys on the Phillies who can hit the ball, obviously, I feel as if when we talk about the Phillies, even though they don't have their 2 big swing guys, as in Schwarber and Harper, who are both currently injured right now on the IL, they still have Bohm, who has good splits. Castellano has good splits against Wisniewski. I still feel as if this is a great spot for the, honestly, just an over, because I don't really like both. I don't really like a side here. When I looked at the pitching matchup, for the Phillies, it's a bullpen day. And they're going to start with Mercado coming out, and I don't really know what the plan is for the Phillies. I don't really like taking pitchers on bullpen days or backing a side on bullpen days, because you don't really know what their plan is until maybe like a few hours before the game, once they actually try to reveal it, or if they do reveal it. So it makes it tricky to really develop a side or really take a side here. And plus at Wrigley, you always know you got to check the weather here. And it is raining a lot. I think it's raining now or earlier, but I saw the weather. It's supposed to be clearing out throughout the rest of the day, which obviously presents the fact that, this is probably going to be a lot more of an overpick. Obviously, I saw the weather. It's supposed to be in the 80s and nice and sunny. I think wind gusts are supposed to be up to 24 miles per hour. So obviously that's kind of playing into the system for the over here. On the other side for the Cubs, it's going to be Hayden Wesneski, who does have decent splits, but not the best splits here against this Phillies team. But the more kind of deciding factor for me with this over, the fact that it's already set at this high at 9.5. You don't really see these totals at Wrigley set this high unless it's really indicating that there is going to be the over. And you always just got to check the weather with the Phillies and with any Cubs home series. And I checked the weather and it's supposed to be hot and windy, so that means obviously the ball is going to have a lot more carry to it out the stadium with the wind blowing out. So I just think with this total set high, I think obviously the bookmakers think it's going to be a high scoring game. With the fact that the Phillies have a bullpen game, we know their plan, and Wisniewski, even though we don't know how long he's going to go, the Cubs bullpen can obviously sell this game many times. We know how the Cubs bullpen is, Ari. So I just love the fact that this over here is in play. I love the fact that it's obviously hot and windy day. Cubs bullpen not the greatest. It's a bullpen day for the Phillies. We don't know what their plan is, but obviously they're trotting out Mercados to start out. So that could be an disadvantage for the Cubs. Obviously we've seen how their bats can show up and unfortunately not show up at times. But we're just backing more of the over here. We're backing the runs and the weather system at Wrigley here. So those are my two picks today. Backing the Pirates with the first 5 money line at -135, and then the Phillies and Cubs at Wrigley. We're taking that over 9.5. 10 runs with both teams here. Just backing a hot and windy day at Wrigley. Now those are my 2 plays today. Ari, what have you cooked up on this Tuesday?
Yeah, 2 ML plays for me. Start off with the Royals at home, hosting Tampa Bay. Mostly just backing the Royals, mostly because they play better at home by a lot. Singers was pretty good to end June after a rough start to the month. 6 innings, 3 runs against the Dodgers, 5 innings, 1 run against the Rangers, and then he dominated the Marlins. But obviously that's Miami. And then facing Zach Littell, who's significantly worse this season on the road, an ERA over 5 on the road. And obviously the Royals ballpark, as we know, is very hitter-friendly, so I think they can get to him pretty easily. And I think Singer can do enough to limit the Rays lineup that's been super inconsistent all season. They've had stretches where they've been, really solid, and stretches where they've been pretty bad. So mostly just backing, I think, the better starting pitcher and the better lineup in Kansas City. Better lineup at home versus on the road for Tampa Bay, I should say. So going with the Royals and then going over to the Padres, facing the Rangers, 2 teams that are pretty much trending opposite directions the past 2 weeks, or I guess week and a half, you could say. The Rangers just ended a 6-game losing streak on Sunday when they beat Baltimore, salvaged 1 game in that series. And the Padres, I think they've won 5, 6, 7, 8. They've won 9 of their last 11, so they've been on fire as of late. It is Eovaldi going for the Rangers, who's been mostly good at home this season, so that is a little bit worrisome to an extent. But then you have Cease going for the Padres, who is looking to turn a season around. He's had some really good starts and some really bad starts this season. Kind of been really, really good from him, or really, really bad for the most part. So I'm kind of hoping to get obviously the good out of him. He had a good start against the Nationals, 7 shutout innings, 1 hit. Obviously, the national lineup isn't the best, but I mean the Rangers lineup right now isn't really what we thought it would be as of late. Obviously, like I said, they just lost 6 games in a row, and that was in large part because their offense has not been good. Corey Seager shouldn't be playing. He got hit in the wrist, and he underwent an MRI yesterday, I believe. So I assume he won't be playing. Right now, their best hitter is probably Josh Smith. That probably is their best hitter right now. Adolis has been really bad so far. It's probably Josh Smith and Nathaniel Lowe has been their most productive hitters so far this season, which is kind of crazy to say. And obviously isn't saying that much. So mostly just backing the better team at home in the Royals, and then the hotter team by far in the Padres today. Kind of two, I guess you could say, narratives or however you want to spin that. But yeah, those are my 2 plays: Royals ML and Padres ML.
I was looking at the Royals as well today. I do love the Royals. I'm on the Royals as well. You mentioned Littell's stats on the road, not as great. Having a 5 ERA, especially at a very hitter-friendly ballpark in Kauffman Stadium, as we very much know, unfortunately, as Mariner fans, as I've said many times. But, even with Brady Singer at home, I think he does just enough against, you mentioned the Rays lineup, who has been very inconsistent, all season. They have stretches where they're great, and then there's stretches where they're not. And obviously, kind of a key heartbeat of that is a Rosarena, who has had a very bad down year for that Rays lineup. So I do like the Royals at home. Taking the better hitting team at home in the spot, and then you taking the Padres. I do like that as well. The Rangers lineup is you're kind of just testing the Rangers lineup. I do like that play for the Rangers lineup. Has been kind of the one thing they always like to lean on. Eovaldi at home is always. You mentioned Eovaldi at home is good, but we're kind of just testing the Rangers lineup. Just to see if they actually are competitive. This Rangers. You mentioned Corey Seager. In his wrist injury, he shouldn't be playing right now. He's actually one of the guys who has decent splits against Dylan Cease along pretty much the top of the lineup with Simeon and Dolis as well. But with how that lineup just looks this year compared to how they were in the past when they faced Cease before, it's a completely different look. And I do like that play for you, just taking the Padres to win. With taking the better team right now in terms of trends. As you said, Padres have won 9 of their last 11 games. Rangers 8 games under 500 after after just winning the World Series. People calling it the World Series slump. That is me. I am people. But obviously, those are Ari's 2 plays, the Royals and the Padres on the money line. And then my 2 plays today, just taking the Pirates first 5 money line at home, backing Mitch Keller at home against Kyle Gibson. And then the Phillies and Cubs over 9.5. Obviously, just backing it over in Wrigley with a hot and windy day with the wind blowing out towards center field. So it obviously makes great play for that over. You can find all of these plays in our video below on our Twitter, AKP Sports Talk. We will have our full video and full card posted momentarily. But that's going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Don't forget, obviously, Thursday, we have another Nerfy stream. Obviously, with the 4th of July, all of these baseball games starting early in the morning. So we're going to find our favorite, maybe even 2 with all how many games are in the morning, and maybe do a couple or maybe just one Nerfy stream for you. But don't forget to tune in on Thursday for that. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's Ari. I'm Korea. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget, win some money, and see you guys tomorrow.